Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla. So, Tesla just came out with their production numbers, and as usual, it was records all around. Production was in line with what was expected by the Tesla community, and deliveries was down a bit. But Tesla did explain why, and it's actually a very good thing. So, let's check out the numbers, because the growth story continues for Tesla, and we can clearly see they are pulling away from the competition and are still on track for 50% growth this year. So let's check out all the numbers we have so far, and let's dive right in. So we have got some production and deliveries numbers from Tesla. 365,923 in production and 343,830 in deliveries. And before people start screaming about the demand problem because Tesla's deliveries are about 22,000 lower than their production numbers, because we are not used to see that. But that is only about 1 week of production for Tesla, and a good sign that Tesla is no longer making these big end of the quarter push, but allows some to spill over in the next quarter. Tesla produced about 27,841 units per week in Q3. So the 22,000 is not even a week's worth of production that Tesla has in inventory, and the cars are already sold. Remember, Tesla still has over 350,000 vehicles in their backlog, so still nowhere near anything we can call demand problem. So the 22,000 units from production to deliveries are already sold cars, just not delivered, as Tesla has actually started loading ship from China at the end of the quarter to be delivered to Singapore, which is also very unusual and shows they are not so focused on getting every single car out at the end of the quarter anymore, but starting to have more smooth workloads on deliveries, also to make sure the price of the deliveries don't spike up at the end of the quarter as we are used to see, but keep it all much more calm, as Tesla also wrote about in their press release. And remember, a weak backlog is nothing in the car industry. They usually have between 5 to 10 weeks worth of backlog, so Tesla is still the industry leader when it comes to having the smallest amount of backlog. So this is no problem whatsoever. And let's just look at these numbers, because as usual they are all records, so not bad numbers by any means. 365,923 in production beat their old record of 305,840 units, so up over 60,000 units in production record, or close to 20% increase, so very good. Year over year they are up almost 54% in production, so that's good, and 42% in deliveries. So again, not bad numbers, but records all around. People are just getting used to Tesla not just beating records quarter after quarter, but blowing them out of the water. So Wall Street will no doubt be talking about demand problem or bad quarter that didn't live up to expectation and blah 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 blah. But also nice to see the Model S and X numbers are actually back up, as Tesla delivered 18,672 Model S and X vehicles in Q3, the most since Q4 of 2019. That was 19,450. So nice to see the production and sales numbers of the flagship cars ramping up again after many quarters with slow production and deliveries. And production was almost 20,000 units. We have not seen that since 2018, where Tesla delivered and produced about 25,000 units a quarter. So very good to see these numbers back up. Even though they're not high volume cars, the S and X, but looks to be the Porsche Taycan, including all the version of the Taycan. Porsche's numbers has not really been growing this year, even though guys like Mark B. Spiegel thought the Taycan would kill the Tesla Model S completely. But guess he was also wrong about that. But Tesla's year-to-date production is 928,987, almost what Tesla produced in all of 2021. So year-to-date is up 49.37%. So very close to that 50% target, so it is still looking good. And this is no doubt more than anyone else will produce of BEVs in all of 2022. So no one will get even close to Tesla's numbers for the first 3 quarters in all of 2022. So again, looking at the competition that was supposed to come for Tesla, well, Volkswagen in the first half of 2022 delivered about 217,000 BEVs. So for them to get to their target of 750,000 units, they really have to pull out some big numbers for the last 2 quarters. So they have to deliver more than 500,000 units for the last 2 quarters, where they last year in the second half of the year delivered 282,000 units. So if Volkswagen is only able to do 27% growth as we saw in the first half of 2022, we are looking about 358,000 units for the second half of this year. So that would not even be 600,000 units. So I hope they can do a bit better than that, but I think they will be closer to 650,000 units than 750,000 units. So if this is going to be the case, that Tesla get close to their 50% growth and 1.4 million units sold, well, Tesla will be 750,000 units in front of the entire Volkswagen Group. Last year, Tesla was about 485,000 units in front of the Volkswagen Group. And in 2020, Tesla was about 268,000 units in front of the Volkswagen Group. So Tesla is clearly pulling away. Volkswagen is not gaining. Even though they are growing, Tesla continues to pull further away from Volkswagen in units than what Volkswagen is able to produce. That has been the case for the last 3 years now. Yep, no one else is catching up to Tesla, not even keeping up with Tesla. Tesla is pulling away from them all. And again, looking back to get some perspective of Tesla's very cool production numbers here, we only need to go back to 2019, only 3 years ago, that Tesla produced 365,194 units for the entire year of 2019. Tesla just beat that production in 1 quarter. And Tesla could very well beat all of 2020 numbers in Q4 alone as well, with 500,000 units in production. And if we look at Tesla's trailing 12 month from Q3 backwards over the last 4 years to get an idea of Tesla's growth and trend, well, the trend is pretty clear. This is some impressive growth we're seeing here. What a busted growth story, right? And if Tesla will have an average selling price of 55,000 we have seen in the first half of the year, we could see something like $18.9 billion in revenue, beating the old record with more than $2 billion. And that record was just set 2 quarters ago in Q1 of 2022. Or Tesla will make almost as much revenue in Q3 alone as Tesla did in the first half of last year. In just Q3, this is some impressive growth numbers in the revenue as well. No matter how you look at it, this is some impressive growth numbers that no one else is keeping up with in the industry. To find the true competitor, we have to look to China. No one of the legacy automakers are even close, but BYD is still rising very fast. They sold 258,610 BEVs in Q3, and a bit more in plug-in as well. But the pure BEVs, 258,000 units, only about 85,000 units behind Tesla in Q3. And BYD is mostly selling vehicles in China and is only now starting to export vehicles to Europe. So if they can keep ramping up production, we should see them grow very fast in 2023 as well, as their BEV sales in September was up 161.5% year over year, so very impressive growth. And I believe their target was 1.2 million new energy vehicles in 2022, and half of that was expected to be BEVs. And BYD has so far delivered in 2022 1.18 million units, so they are pretty much home safe on their target and could end the year off with something like 1.6 or 1.7 new energy vehicles, so maybe something like 800,000 BEVs. So no doubt that they will continue to beat Volkswagen and stay at the number 2 spot on the list of best-selling BEV companies on the planet in 2022, and will beat all the Japanese and South Korean automakers combined on BEV sales in 2022, as the Japanese is hardly making any, and Hyundai and Kia Group will probably end up with something like 400,000 units combined. So maybe even beating the Hyundai Kia Group and BMW and Mercedes all combined BEV sales. That should be very close to BYD's BEV sales. So also a good showcase of just how fast BYD is growing. The Chinese companies are really coming, as we have been talking about, compared to the other legacy automakers. So it will be exciting to see if they can continue to ramp up in 2023, or if they are starting to reach their maximum in production before they get more factories online. Tesla will no doubt continue to grow very fast, even here in Q4 this year, and then Berlin and Texas should really start playing a big role in the growth story next year. So very good growth numbers from Tesla, no matter what the mainstream media wants to spin of this, and the short sellers will no doubt be screaming about demand problem and Tesla is now doomed and will soon go bankrupt because the competition is coming. But my bet is they will be wrong again, as they have been for the last decade, and Tesla will just continue to grow at an unprecedented speed.
And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.